so I'm just gonna go over real quick the UI setup that I have for Shadowlands. It's nothing crazy. It's just very minimalistic. Um, the less shit that's on my screen, the easier I can see what I'm doing, and it's just gonna make life a lot easier. All right. So to start with, all right. So I use, if you notice, I have a custom add-on for nameplates. That's just so it's easier for me to see um, how many targets are out there, yada yada yada, how much health they have, shit like that. Just so it's a little bit easier, like especially like I know that has 4 seconds on a measure shield, and there's I have judgment on that target, whatever. Um, just a little bit easier to manage, especially if you play like a warlock, which was my main for Battle of Azeroth. Um, you can kind of see what targets have what dots. Shadow Priest, another one that's really good for that. Okay, so that's that, and it also during combat will light up a different color if I have threat on it or not. So it's really easy, you know, there's ads that get spawned or whatever. I can kind of see what I'm doing as far as that stuff goes. Okay, the next add-on would be Grid. Pretty self-explanatory, especially if you play during vanilla. There's basically it's just a nameplate grid, so all the raid members will show up here. I have that in place for situations to where for when I need to use Blessing of Sacrifice. So normally would be I haven't set the macro up yet, but normally you'd use a mouse over macro, highlight who you want to use it on, and just hit that hotkey, and it does Blessing without having to like go through there on the raid frames and hit their name. And the Blizzard UI raid frame tool is so bad. It populates the entire screen. It's really annoying. So that's on grid. If you're a healer, alternatively, you could use mouse over macros instead of like heal bot or voodoo or whatever the hell healers using these days. I haven't healed in God knows how long. The next add-on would be Scada, just damage meter. It's just a lower resource heavy one over recount, and now there's some other ones. Some people use one called details, and there's a bunch of other ones. Nothing big there. Deadly boss mods, pretty obvious. But for those of you who've never used an add-on before, DBM or Deadly Boss mods, you can also use one called Big Wigs, which is slightly different. You can change where timers show up. Basically, every time a boss is going to use an ability or an ability is about to come off cooldown, DBM will display, a warning. Or if the boss is getting ready to do something big, they'll yell at you to move or whatever. If you're standing in fire, it'll yell at you for that. But you have to set that up in the settings. DBM, it's every raider needs it, and every raider uses it. Let's see, what else do I have? I guess there's only two add-ons really left. Dominoes. So Dominoes is a kind of a UI suite that uses like stuff like Bartender, which is what allows me to move my bars and stuff. Bartender or Dominoes also um, will allow you to have like a cast bar. So if you notice, like it'll show the latency on the server latency on there, so you can adjust your casts accordingly, or how much of delay you have. Tanks don't really have cast bar too much, but that's typically how that works. And then Dominoes will allow you to move your bars around. So you just left click it, and you can move everything from where your cast bar sits, your pet bar to your bar here, or whatever. Actually, while I'm in here, I'm gonna move this up, move this over. We just now got our stance bars back for a lot of classes, so Paladin has theirs again. Um, it's pretty standard stuff. Nothing major. You can move your experience bar. You can middle click it and it'll make it disappear. It's literally bartender. It's like what bartender is. You can do the same exact things on bartender. You can change the layout of like this. Like you just change it to how many columns you want. If you want it to be up and down like that, you can do that. You want it to be flat, you can do that. You don't want to show it at all. You middle click it. Actually, I'll probably make this into a put that there like that. It's fine. It's I like it more. I like setting my interface up like this versus using LVUI, but LVUI is very good too. LVUI has a lot of built-in stuff. All right, and that leaves the last big add-on. So it's going to be weak auras. Now, for those of you who've never used weak auras, how to explain it? It's literally like designing your um, designing how you want your spells. So basically, I have it set up to where if I'm missing a buff, it'll tell me, or if the enemy has a buff, it'll tell me. If it also keeps track of B reses, so we'll know how many B reses are available and what the cooldowns are on them. This is all my cooldowns and abilities, so I'll know like this will help me when I'm getting ready to pull or something like that. Like I know like I have a shield up, I need to use consecrate or whatever, or da 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 da. I know when my cooldowns are up, so I'm not looking down at my bars. I'm looking at the middle of my screen because that's where everything is. That's where all the enemies are. That's where all the debuffs are. That's all that stuff. So that's all my rotation, and the top 5 little bars here are my holy power, so you know exactly. And then if I also have set up for cooldowns and stuff, so when I use something, it'll tell me how long the duration is on it. Um, I have it set up for all my tanks, I think, except Demon Hunter. You can import other people's weak aura strings. See, I don't design these things. Um, I'm not that clever, but other people do, and there's tons and tons of people in the community that have set up all kinds of styles for anything you could ever want. You can also track boss abilities, so if DBM isn't cutting it, this will. Um, so if we look at it in practice here, if I look in the middle, I know I have 2 charges of Cavalier. I have all my defensives. Holy Wrath is available. So once I use it, you'll see the cooldown pop up for Judgment and that. And then if you hit that, it tells me how many seconds I have left on Shields of the Righteous. So you can, if you're fast enough, which I don't have enough haste yet, but once Paladins start to get later in the expansion, you can literally roll your cooldowns. And if I wanted to, I could use Holy Avenger, and then I can just really if I know it's going to be a really crazy phase or whatever, you can do that and you can roll them, and I'll know how long I have, and then kind of go from there. So that's kind of what There's my taunt, there's my stun, and then we have that our paladin shield wall, which is actually cool now because it actually transforms you into the thing instead of having something follow you around buffing you, which I think is a cool concept. Just minor changes for. So yeah, I mean that's the basics of um, what my add-ons are. Mainly, a friend wanted me to upload this because he was wondering about my add-ons. Um, there's not a lot of problems with the default UI, but there are some things that need to be improved. And you can get add-ons that'll do all kinds of crap, change the way the mini map is. Oh god, I mean the amount is so massive, honestly. So. Okay, so that's it. That's the suite for um, my prop paladin add-ons. I have them set up for all my tanks right now. I think except my demon hunter needs a few, but other than that, pretty easy. All right. So if and all these can be downloaded at if you go to Twitch has like a mod page now, and you can literally install them right into your game from Twitch. Um, just make sure that it's the right one. Make sure you pick retail WoW and um, not not classic WoW if you're playing classic WoW. But other than that, that's all I got. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. All right. Bye.